Hello, my friends. Dani Beit-Or here, and I want to take, if you have the patience, maybe up to 5 minutes of your time, hopefully less, to deconstruct a deal, a transaction that I think some people have done. I'm gonna stick into one property that I think is going to be very representing of some people that I know who did something like this in the past few years. I actually, on purpose, selected to choose or selected a property in Metro Austin, and I want to show you 3, 4 years later how is this working out um, to the person or people that have done similar deals. Maybe the numbers will be a little bit different, maybe higher or smaller, but I think it's a very good representation. And the reason I'm picking on Austin, guys, I'm picking on Austin on purpose, is because for several years, personally, I avoided Austin. Now, I want to tell you something. I know Austin. I've been to Austin. I've even invested in Austin in the past. I have nothing against this place. On the contrary, this is a very good place to live, high quality. As a person, if I probably have to move to Texas, my guess, I'll move to Austin. I think it's vibrant and fun and interesting and different and everything. Great. I love it. What has love and liking Austin has to do with anything about real estate investing? I have no idea. But I'm going to tell you that in my opinion, here's the you know what? It's not my opinion. I'll let the numbers work or talk and show you, so you can be the judge of this example. And again, I just want to mention, if anyone who invested in Austin and watching this video and feel bad, there is a little bit silver lining here, and I will talk about it towards the end. So there is a silver lining here, so don't feel horribly bad. I just want to show you or some of our clients why years ago we stopped recommending Austin and recommended other parts of the country. And you know what? Here are the reasons. So this is just a house. Again, I picked an actual house. I dived into the details of that house. I was able to reconstruct as much as information as possible. But out of respect to someone who may own, I don't even know, own or doesn't own that house. Or so I just kind of hidden some of the details, so I'm not offending anyone, or I'm not, hurting anyone's feeling. I just want to show you an example and of a real transaction as much as I can tell. And I spent few good hours to reverse engineer all the numbers here. And you know what? A little disclaimer: I may not have all the numbers down to the dollar or to an exact figure, but based on my experience and my knowledge and time spending deconstructing a deal, you know what? Those are not just rough ballpark numbers. Those are good figures that you can work on depend on. They may be a little bit, off by few dozen dollars left and right. Okay, so where we are, let's dive into the details. This is a nice single family home, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2,000 square feet, built in 1998, great schools, Cedar Park, a suburb of Austin. Great, no problem so far. I love everything. Just the type of deals I like to do anywhere in the country. Similar to this one, just change change the locale. So from that standpoint, great. This house was purchased for $455,000, and at the time it was probably about market value. So that means the buyer of this house may have paid exactly market value, which in my opinion there's nothing wrong with it, and maybe paid a little bit below market value. Again, no problem there in my opinion. So far we're good. Market value 455, a bit expensive, but okay. Paid 455, that's okay as well. Uh, I don't know exactly what was the condition of the property, so I'm just based on past photos, assumed it needed some work, nothing extensive. Great. Further, when we dive into the financing, around 2001, my assumption that this person got around 4% as an investment property interest rate, maybe 4.5, maybe 3.5. So I wasn't sure exactly about that. So I'm using 4% because that is what was doable around that time. 4%, great. At least I think that was one of the little perks that this person received here is a 4% 30-year fix with 25% down, as much as I can tell. So far, all good. We have a nice house, a good location, nice metro of Austin, market value, market price, no problem. Great interest rate, locked in for 30 years. Up until now, everything is fine. Now let's see how the numbers are, acting out or um, come out in real life. So I am using what I'm doing right now in this section over here is I'm just assuming this is 2021 and I'm analyzing this property in 2021 when I'm buying this property based on all the figures that I have. Okay, so right now I am just assuming we are doing a little bit of a traveling in time and we are looking at a property as if we are, let's say, mid 2021 and running the numbers with the interest rate that we can get. Okay, this house for 455 could rent for about 2,400 a month, maybe 2,500 enough. We can change it just a little bit, maybe, right? So already, in my opinion, horrible start. Not a bad start, horrible start. Because around the country, when we buy properties for 455, we will probably, list them in different parts of the country for closer to 3,500 and above. Actually, this house in another market, let's just say in St. Louis or in Kansas City, in good parts of Kansas City and St. Louis or Nashville, would cost us 400,000 or less, and will rent for much higher. So the rent purchase price ratio that we would get, and that's why I am a little bit upset about someone is doing a deal like this one, and I'm keep asking myself, why would someone do a deal like this one, which is not so good deal from day one, in my humble opinion. I only have 20 years of experience. I've only been involved in about 5,000 transactions, so maybe I have a little bit of experience or permission to observe. I am upset about someone or even running those numbers and feeling that, oh, that's okay. It's not. Well, hold on. In my humble opinion, not okay. Not a good start. Wait, there's more, right? So the beginning is here. We can see that the rent is relatively low. Not horrible, relatively low. Well, horrible, but very low. Next thing is property taxes. Property taxes in Texas, they're very high, right? So to begin with, we're starting with a high property taxes. As an example, on properties that we buy elsewhere, a $400,000, a $450,000 property would probably be, maybe not half of the property taxes, but just about half, right? So just about half. So look at how much expense is eating into the tight cash flow from day one, right? So problem number one, low rent. Problem number two is the high property taxes. Problem number three, high insurance rates. Again, other parts of the country don't have that problem. So we are running into three problems to begin with: low rent relatively to the price, high property taxes, and high insurance rates to begin with. Those are all eating into our cash flow. Luckily, at least the interest payments are relatively low with 4%. So we got something going on very well. I'm going to come back to this, and I just want to show you here. We analyze our properties based on 5-year projection or 5-year analysis, 10-year analysis, 15 and 20. You can see that in 10 years, cash flow on a monthly basis is about $300 negative every month. You know what? If I plan correctly, I can live with it if I understand how to deal with it. So not horrible if you know how to deal with it, but from get-go, we're already from day one at negative. So maybe we're banking on appreciation. We'll get around to that. So that means I am losing negative cash flow of about $3,500 every year for the first 5 years on average. So maybe appreciation will pick up and fix it. Well, let's look at that for a second. So if we're looking at 10 years, 10 years, interesting. negative cash flow. In 10 years, I'm still at a negative of $200 or $160 negative a month, and I'm not picking up the cash flow. So 10 years to carry negative cash flow, that can be a little bit challenging financially, mentally, and what if I don't have the money to carry that? So the other thing. So what is the deal here? Oh, I know. It's Austin. We're going to have tremendous appreciation. Well, do we? Is it going to happen? So let's see. I just put 2020 here to see what happened before 2021, the years of purchase. So we just wanted to kind of give you the observation. We have $6,600 in property taxes, insurance $2,000, rent is $2,400. We're about $300, maybe a little bit below in cash flow on a monthly basis. You know what? Okay, live with it. And the value 450, give or take 5,000. Great. 2022, wait. What's happening here? Almost double the property taxes, but we probably doubled the rent. Wait, what? We didn't double the rent? We only went up $100? What's going on here? All right, maybe the value went up. The value went up. It's now at 460,000. You know what? 465. All right, we found the catch. We have a 460 to 465 property appreciated $10,000 in 1 year. Woohoo! That's offsetting our cash flow. Is it really? Well, what about insurance? We already went up by a few $100s on a monthly basis. Even if I'm wrong, maybe half of it, probably not wrong. Let's move on. You know what? 2022, terrible year. All right, 2023, here we go. For some reason, there's an adjustment. Interesting. Why there's an adjustment? Property taxes went down. Okay. Not insurance, also went up, yet again went up a year later, but my rent went up and now it's covering the gap. Well, it did went up by maybe $100. So honestly, the cash flow is getting worse and worse. But appreciation, what do you mean appreciation? Wait. 2023 and it's $440,000 this house? Well, that's what the estimate is, right? Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's 445. Actually, it was worse on the AVM models. It was lower. But you know what? I wanted to be careful. So we went down. Wait, 2024. We're not done yet, right? We're now in mid-2024. Let's see how we're doing so far. Property taxes, we don't know yet. I'm just assuming it's going to go up a little bit, but maybe not. So I put a question mark. So questionable 9,000. You know what? 8,000. Great. Finally, something to hope for. Insurance. Wait, again went up. Another $300 or so. You know what? Maybe not. Maybe it stayed the same. So maybe the rent improved. Oh, it did. Maybe, and I'm not even sure about that, $100 more. So my cash flow is not improving. It's actually worsening. And my property value is not going up. It's actually going down, right? So I'm losing both on the cash flow and both on the appreciation. I want to send a strong message to our clients, to Simply Do It clients. You guys are not experiencing that in any of the markets that we are in. It could happen, but so far, while some markets this is happening, you guys are not benefiting, quote unquote, enjoying that really fun joyride. So what are we seeing here? What are the problems? Relatively expensive property. Let me back up for a second. Great metro, great place, excellent quality of life. You know what? If you hang on to this property for 10 years or more, you'll probably be okay and offset all of those things, but you have to carry the next 10 years-ish of the cash flow or negative cash flow. I hope you're ready for it and hope that it will come up in 10 years. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't, and you have to wait 15. All right, let's see. You know what? Let's see what's happening in 15 years. We're ready to give you an example that in 15 years, this property is going to be about breaking even. Finally, some good news. In about 15 years or so, maybe before, it will start breaking even unless we see some abnormality in rents or abnormality in property taxes and insurance, which I doubt at least the insurance or property taxes will give us any perks or benefits here. So we are seeing a nice house, in a good area for not cheap, when you go out of state. Not a bad area, but you need to prepare yourself for a significant, you know, supporting your cash flow for the next 10 years. You guys, every time we go into a negative cash flow situation, if it happens, it does. It's a very minimal negative cash flow of maybe $100 or $150, you know, a month. And we know that even in today's rate at 7%, the minute we have an opportunity to refinance, not to 4, which would be great, even to 6%, that property will immediately jump up in the cash flow, and the cash flow will, the small negative cash flow will be eliminated. And you know what? When we do negative cash flow deals, which rarely we do, but we do, at least we mitigate with significant equity, 20, 30, $40,000 on the buying end. So that means I have a negative cash flow or a break-even situation from day one, but at least on the equity, I'm buying it 25,000, 35,000 below market value. And when I say those numbers, I mean after spending money on renovating. So whatever I renovated, I already included in the deal. It's not so. It's not fair to say, hey, I bought it 30,000 below market, and then I have to spend $40,000 to renovate it. That's not how we operate. So I want to spend the time, and I keep asking myself, and you know what? I want you to ask, if you are someone who invested in Austin and you're not local. If you're local, I get it. Maybe I get it. I actually don't, but you know what? Let's say I do. If you're not local, right? Why did you? Why did you? At the same time, I can tell you that exactly on the same period of time, we've bought properties in other parts of the country, nice parts of the country, not terrible, neighborhoods or rundown houses or rundown difficult tenants, not at all. Very similar to this one in terms of profile of tenants, neighborhood, schools, etc. So similar property, similar investment, just a different state, just that doesn't have all those crazy expenses, right? And don't get me wrong, I've been investing in Texas for many, many, many years, right? Probably since 2004. I've been active in Houston and Dallas, not so much in Austin for a reason. Now you see the reason. And we just ended up buying there in the past year and a half, just because the numbers got to be crazy, etc. But none of the properties that we've purchased or any of our clients purchased in the past decade are showing this kind of a performance, more than a decade. So my question for you, what was the reason you decided to buy in Austin? And I really, really hope the answer is not, oh, my friend bought there a year before me or something like this, or I found a really nice person to help me buy over there. Those are not good enough reasons for you to consider investing in a market. Do your due diligence, run your numbers realistically. This is realistically, and don't just go to an area just because my friend bought there, so he knows what he's doing. Maybe your friend followed another friend who followed another friend, and they don't really know what they're doing. You know what? Maybe they don't know fully what they're doing. So you know what? I want to challenge you and ask you, and I welcome your comments. I want to understand, why did you buy this property or something similar? Why? I'm seriously asking, why? I want to thank you for taking the time. I hope this is beneficial. Usually we do something more optimistic and how things are great. And I just thought it would be great to do something more of a deconstructing and taking things, to show you how deals are not always as beautiful as you think they will be. For those of you who are experiencing something like this, I want to tell you two things. Number one, hang in there. Probably in 5 to 10 years, you know what? 10 years, you'll probably do at least okay on the appreciation. I can't guarantee that, but I think it will be okay. So hang it tight. For those of you who are in this situation, but have equity for one reason or another in your house, but you're still experiencing those unfriendly numbers, to say the least, well, you definitely should consider maybe selling and moving to another area by a 1031 exchange if you have a profit, or not using the 1031 exchange method and just selling and utilizing your equity instead of continuously, diving in or putting more money in. You're probably going to be better in other parts of the country. I apologize for you Texans and Austinians. I have nothing personally against Austin. I am very much, interested in doing smart and logical and intelligent investment decisions. Thank you for watching.